In the Cold War forbidden area, some Soviet and British thieves went by car to an old 13th century church in the Carpathian mountains. After much hard work, the thieves discovered an empty church. Inside, the abandoned church was decorated with numerous mosaics portraying mythical creatures and winged demons. The thieves wanted to get to the vaults located beneath the floor, so they used explosives to open a hole in the ground. Unfortunately, their actions triggered an earthquake that caused the floor to crumble, causing them to fall into an enormous cave system below. The explosion also caused a landslide that destroyed the church and blocked the entrance above them. The thieves were buried alive beneath the rubble. Luckily, all of the thieves survived the fall. The thieves ventured deeper into the cave, hoping to find an exit, but they heard strange bat-like sounds in the darkness. Scene shift 30 years later, a team of scientists conducted an excavation at the former church site and discovered the cave. Upon noticing a river flowing deep inside it, one of scientists says we need expert cave divers to explore further. Meanwhile, Tyler McAllister and his team of divers are looking for an underwater cave in sea. Most of Tyler's team gave up after some unsuccessful attempts to find the underwater cave in sea. However, Tyler persisted and eventually found it. He returned to the boat feeling proud of himself, but his brother Jack McAllister scolded him. Jack explained how crucial it was for their safety to stop when the group decided to call it quits. Later, the team received a video call from Dr. Nikolai, who offered them a job to explore the cave underneath the abandoned church. The doctor promised that the cave extended deeper than 19 miles, and he wanted to document the entire journey. The team found the proposition exciting and agreed to take the job. The next day, they arrived at the site and began preparing their equipment. While getting ready, Tyler noticed Kathryn, one of the scientists. Tyler had intended to introduce himself and flirt with Kathryn as soon as he saw her, but his chance was ruined because Alex, the cameraman, was already there. Tyler was able to impress Kathryn with his diving equipment, but their conversation was interrupted when Nikolai introduced Jack to Kathryn. He noticed that Alex was taking pictures of something unusual, which turned out to be human remains found in the cave. Next day, the group descended on cables to the base camp they had set up below, and the Titan Hall was breathtakingly beautiful. The group began to prepare their equipment for the exploration, and Briggs was selected to go into the river first to scout ahead. He eagerly jumped into the water and swam ahead, discovering a curve after a few miles. He followed the river for 2 miles and saw something in the distance, but before he could provide more details, the server crashed, and he lost contact. As they waited for Briggs to finish his exploration, Tyler complained about not being chosen and claimed that he was the best scout on the team. However, Jack remained sticks in his decision, using it as a way to punish Tyler for his previous actions. Meanwhile, Briggs continued his exploration. Kathryn offered Tyler a spider in a tube as a consolation prize, and they bonded over their shared aspiration to be the first to discover something new and unique. The team becomes anxious as Briggs takes longer to report back, but he eventually calls in to share that he's found a suitable camping spot 2.4 miles away from the main cave. He sends them a sonar scan of the route and informs them he's seen a strange mole-like creature. The mole slips and runs away, but then Briggs suddenly looks pale and says there's something else there. The communication fails, and they lose contact with Briggs after a few seconds. To fix the signal issues, Tyler and sonar expert Strode are sent to repair the cables while the others continue exploring. As they swim, they come across a giant animal skeleton and are amazed by everything they see. Meanwhile, Jack and Buchanan make it to the base and find Briggs' equipment, but Briggs himself is nowhere to be found. As they call out for Briggs, he responds from a small opening in the cavern wall. He has found some old equipment, which proves that they are not the first humans to have visited this cave. As Tyler and Strode work on the cables underwater, they hear a strange noise. Strode thinks he sees one of the moles and goes to investigate, but instead finds a new cavern and the mole brutally dead on the ground. Tyler, on the other hand, discovers that the cables look chewed. Suddenly, Strode is attacked and dragged away by a large, strange creature. He fights for his life and grabs onto his water scooter, but the creature latches onto him and drags him into a dark crevice. In the chaos, the water scooter crashes into the cave wall, instantly exploding and causing rocks to fall that blocks the entrance. The shockwave from the explosion pushes Tyler to the surface, and he quickly tells the others what happened. Jack and Buchanan investigate the entrance but find it blocked by falling rocks, forcing them to swim back. When they reach the base, Jack tells the team that they're now trapped and won't be considered missing until the scheduled 12 days pass. Briggs is hesitant due to the attack on Strode, but Tyler reassures him that it was likely just a hallucination. The group agrees that survival should be the priority, even if it means waiting out the full 12 days until they're reported missing. However, Jack believes that they may not be found even then, as the best rescuers are already with them. Jack and Buchanan decide to search for an exit while the others rest. Nikolai believes the cave is too large to explore and they may get lost, but Jack is determined to find a way out. Briggs and Tyler get into a fistfight after Briggs makes mean implications about their split and Tyler downplays Strode's death. Charlie intervenes and reminds them to behave. Meanwhile, Kathryn analyzes the samples she took and discovers a strange parasite in the cave, which Nikolai confirms. Jack and Buchanan discover an area with bubbling water and signs that people were there before. After crawling through a narrow tunnel, Jack and Buchanan encounter a group of white scorpions blocking their way. Jack uses a flare to see better but is attacked by a strange beast that attempts to drag him away. Jack cuts off the creature's claw to free himself, but sustains severe injuries to his back in the process. Buchanan tends to his wounds while Kathryn examines the claw and theorizes that the cave animals evolved and lost their sight in exchange for heightened senses of smell and hearing. Nikolai suggests they have discovered a new ecosystem, and Alex points out that the claw resembles the demons depicted in church art. The team discovers that the claw has the same parasite inside it as the other animals. Despite the danger of the creature, Nikolai suggests they wait, but the team decides to continue their search for an exit. They come across human bones with bite marks, confirming that the creature is a predator. When they reach a fork in the path, Jack goes to explore ahead, but Briggs is skeptical and suggests using sonar instead. However, when Briggs checks the path Jack didn't take, the sonar picks up something moving. Frightened but determined, Briggs agrees to follow Jack with the others. They begin climbing walls to move upward, and Jack surprises Buchanan by claiming he can smell water. Shortly after finding the river, Jack confirms it's safe by throwing a flare into it. However, when Alex starts recording, Jack becomes angry and pushes Alex away, dropping the camera in the water. Alex confronts Jack, and he snaps out of his anger and apologizes for his behavior. Jack then orders the team to rest for 20 minutes, but he goes to sit alone on a rock as his body trembles in pain. From a distance, Buchanan notices this and tells Tyler that the medication isn't working. Jack suddenly realizes he can hear everyone talking even if they're not close by. Tyler approaches him to check on his brother, but Jack insists he's fine and asks him to trust him. After the break, the team resumes their journey through the water, but the strong current makes them worry they could get lost. Jack insists this is the only way out and they must follow him, even though Alex points out that Jack seems to have a death wish. As they navigate the rapids, Kathryn gets stuck and Tyler is unable to reach her due to the strong current. Tyler is then pushed away from the group, while Nikolai clings to a rock after injuring his leg against the cave wall. Tyler and Kathryn fall down a waterfall, and Charlie tells them about something strange in the water. Tyler finds eels with large teeth. Tyler scares off the eels with a flare and they are contacted by the others. They all light flares to signal each other and start swimming towards one another. However, Nikolai falls off the waterfall. Jack decides to go looking for Nikolai and they hear him screaming as something attacks Nikolai. Kathryn wants to help him, but Buchanan reminds the group to stay in a circle for protection and wait patiently while Jack goes to look for Nikolai. Jack follows a trail of blood and finds a monstrous creature dragging a lifeless Nikolai through a narrow passage. The beast has tattooed letters on its hand, which suggests it was once human. Meanwhile, Alex senses something moving in the water and starts kicking frantically, scaring off whatever was there. When Jack rejoins the group and shares what he witnessed, Kathryn blames him for Nikolai's death, accusing him of wanting to stay at the camp. As they continue, they hear strange sounds that confirm the creature's limited eyesight and use of echolocation. They finally discover a current that appears to be the main water flow leading outside, but they are unsure if it's safe due to the creatures. Jack insists they climb the walls, and when Charlie volunteers to go first, he rejects the offer, telling Tyler they'll do it. While they prepare their gear, Kathryn expresses concern to Tyler that Jack is too sick to lead, which he overhears. Charlie uses the distraction to start climbing on her own, swiftly reaching an edge where she feels a draft. She peers inside and sees a massive bat-like creature that roars at her, causing her to slip and fall unconscious. Fortunately, the rope catches her, but when she awakens, she realizes the beast is coming for her. The team quickly starts working on rescuing Charlie, but they are not moving fast enough. Charlie decides to swim her rope while using her flamethrower to keep the beast away. Finally, she cuts the rope and jumps onto the adjacent wall, thinking she is out of harm's way. But the creature surprises her by flying and attacking her. Charlie tries to defend herself and sets the creature on fire with her flamethrower. The creature falls dead, but sadly Charlie dies as well. The team mourns Charlie's death as they retrieve her body. Meanwhile, they notice a change in Jack's appearance. His pupils are slanted, and his skin is pale. Kathryn finally understands that the parasite has entered Jack's body through his wounds, and he's now changing like the other creature and people in the area. Tyler tries to defend his brother's decisions, but Kathryn, Briggs, and Alex refuse to listen to him and instead opt to take the main water flow they had found earlier. Jack, Tyler, and Buchanan climb up the now safe corridor that Charlie cleared by killing the creature. They arrive at a steep, frozen cliff that Jack decides they need to descend. Tyler slips, but manages to grab an edge, while his rebreather falls and hits Buchanan, causing him to slide down and injure his leg. The rebreather also makes a hole in an ice wall, revealing another cavern. The trio explores the area and finds numerous skeletons wearing medieval armor, confirming Nikolai's tale. Jack discovers daylight under the gurgling water, indicating it as their exit. However, Jack starts feeling ill again, but insists on searching for the others himself while telling his friends to leave. Tyler disagrees with the plan to let Jack search for the others because he is clearly sick, and this angers Jack. Buchanan steps in to prevent a fight and persuades Jack that Tyler should be the one to search. While Tyler sets off, Kathryn and the rest of the group prepare to swim, but Briggs hears a creature coming. Briggs lights a flare to scare off the approaching creature, but it attacks him anyway. Meanwhile, Jack and Buchanan are also confronted by a creature, which snatches one of their rebreathers before flying away. Tyler makes his way through the water, avoiding the eels, and surfaces to find his team's equipment covered in blood. Tyler hears screaming and rushes towards it, only to find Briggs being attacked and taken away by the beast. Despite Tyler's attempt to save him, Briggs is impaled on the stalactites and dies, telling Tyler that Kathryn is further in the tunnel and giving him his pickaxe. As Tyler runs away, he encounters another creature and starts to flee, only to run into Kathryn. She uses the sonar to scare the creature away and the two continue on, eventually reaching a river. They jump in and swim, sharing Tyler's rebreather, but lose it in a narrow passage. Kathryn passes out and Tyler has to drag her to the surface. Thanks to Tyler's use of CPR, Kathryn quickly wakes up. They hear a strange noise, but it turns out to be Alex warning them that the monster is chasing him. Tyler spots an ice vein that he believes connects to the one Jack found earlier, so the three of them start climbing. Shortly after, they arrive at the cavern with the skeletons and meet up with Jack and Buchanan. The creatures are hanging from the ceiling, appearing to be waiting for something, indicating that time is running out. The group doesn't have enough rebreathers to share, so Jack decides to retrieve the one stolen by the monster. Meanwhile, the rest of the group is making their way towards the water when they accidentally drop a rebreather, creating enough noise to attract the attention of a creature. Alex used sonar to keep a creature away, but creature broke some stalactites that hurt his leg. Tyler attempted to help him, but the monster arrived and killed Alex before he could. Meanwhile, Buchanan and Kathryn hid from another creature that was approaching them from the water. They tried to avoid its echolocation. The monster finds them anyway, and it won't leave even when Buchanan hits it with the rebreather, but Tyler jumps in and kills it with a machete. As more creatures approach, Jack runs away from a third monster and climbs a wall to grab the last rebreather. He knocks the creature down and retrieves the rebreather. Knowing they're outnumbered, Jack throws one of the tanks to his brother and puts a flare in the other before throwing it into the water. The tank explodes, causing the entire cave to shake and distracting all the monsters except for one. As the cave continues to shake, one creature remains unfazed and heads straight for Jack. In a brave move, Jack jumps on its back and takes it down into the water, sacrificing himself to save his friends. Tyler, Kathryn, and Top swim towards the light and manage to escape the collapsing cave. Some days later, the group of survivors makes it back to civilization and Top says his goodbyes before leaving. Tyler meets up with Kathryn later and asks if it's possible for Jack to survive in his mutated state outside of the cave. Kathryn admits that she originally believed the parasite could only survive underground, but now she's unsure and suspects that it wants to spread. When she takes off her sunglasses, Tyler notices Kathryn's eyes have mutated like Jack's and realizes she's infected. Kathryn leaves quickly, and Tyler chases after her, but she vanishes into the crowd. He knows she plans to remain free and infect others.